The War Council of the Vraxian Empire assembled in their orbital fortress, a structure so massive it cast shadows across 3 moons. Commander Thane stood before them, bound in energy chains that hummed with enough voltage to kill a lesser being. His crime, they claimed, was treason of the highest order, selling military secrets to the rival Corthan alliance. The evidence seemed irrefutable: encrypted transmissions traced to his quarters, classified battle plans found in enemy hands, and testimony from a dozen officers. Thane said nothing in his defense. His jaw was set, his eyes forward. He had accepted his fate the moment the guards came for him. Execution was scheduled for dawn. What the council did not anticipate was Lyra. She was Vraxian herself, a decorated pilot with violet skin that shimmered like starlight and 4 arms that made her unmatched in hand-to-hand combat. Her compound eyes could track 100 targets simultaneously. She had grown up believing humans were weak, fragile things barely worth the Empire's attention when they first made contact. That belief shattered the day she met Thane during a joint military exercise. He had saved her squadron when their engines failed in a debris field, piloting his damaged ship through impossible angles to create a safe corridor. While her people calculated survival probabilities, he simply acted. That reckless human courage fascinated her. Then she learned he played an ancient earth instrument called a guitar in the evenings, fingers moving across strings to create sounds her species had never imagined. She fell in love somewhere between his terrible jokes and the way he looked at the stars like they held answers to questions he had not yet asked. Now they wanted to take him from her. Lyra reviewed the evidence herself, hacking into secured databases with techniques Thane had taught her during late-night strategy sessions. The more she examined the data, the more the pieces failed to align. The transmission timestamps coincided with times Thane was on record in the training simulators. The encryption matched Vraxian military protocols, not human systems. Someone had framed him with surgical precision. She brought her findings to the council. They dismissed her. "Your judgment is compromised," High Chancellor Vorn declared, his crest flaring red with disdain. "This human has infected your mind with their primitive emotions. Love is a weakness we evolved beyond millennia ago." "Then call me weak," Lyra responded, her voice steady. "But do not call me blind. I challenge the verdict under the old law." The council chamber fell silent. The old law was ancient, from the days before the Empire spanned galaxies. It allowed any citizen to challenge a judgment through trial by combat. Few invoked it anymore. None had invoked it against the full military might of the Empire. "You would fight for this human?" Vorn asked, disbelief coloring his tone. "We have 1,000 warriors in this fortress alone." "Then gather them," Lyra said. "I will face them all." The arena they chose was a hollowed asteroid, its interior carved into a vast amphitheater. Word spread through the fleet like wildfire. A Vraxian fighting for a human, fighting against her own people. It was unprecedented, scandalous, and every soldier wanted to witness it. They gave her 1 day to prepare. She spent it with Thane in his cell. "You do not have to do this," he said softly, touching her face through the energy barrier. "I made peace with this outcome." "Well, I have not," she replied. "You humans have a saying I like. Something about rage and gentle nights?" "Do not go gentle into that good night," Thane quoted, managing a smile. Dylan Thomas. "Yes, that one. I will rage, Thane. For you, I will rage." The first wave came at dawn. 200 warriors, armed with plasma blades and neural disruptors. Lyra stood at the center of the arena, wearing lightweight combat armor she had modified herself. She carried no weapons. Vraxian martial arts emphasized using the opponent's strength against them, and with 4 arms, she could fight multiple enemies simultaneously. The initial charge was meant to overwhelm her through sheer numbers. But Lyra moved like liquid mercury, flowing between strikes, redirecting blades into other attackers, using momentum and leverage to turn the horde into chaos. Her compound eyes tracked every angle, while her mind calculated trajectories at computational speeds. Within 15 minutes, bodies littered the ground unconscious, not dead. She had sworn to herself that she would not kill unless forced. The second wave learned from the first. They came in coordinated squads with overlapping fields of fire. Lyra adapted, using debris as shields, closing distance in unpredictable patterns. When one squad tried to flank her, she vaulted over them, landing behind their formation and systematically dismantling their cohesion. Her forearms became a blur of motion blocking, striking, grappling, throwing. Sweat gleamed on her violet skin, but her expression remained focused. By midday, 500 warriors had fallen. High Chancellor Vorn watched from the observation deck, his confidence eroding with each passing hour. This should have ended quickly. Lyra was fighting beyond her limits, beyond what biology should allow. Then he realized the truth. She was not fighting with Vraxian efficiency. She was fighting with human desperation. That reckless, emotional, illogical drive that let humans punch above their weight throughout history. She had learned it from Thane, absorbed it through proximity, and now wielded it like a weapon. The third wave included the Empire's elite guards warriors who had trained for decades, whose reflexes were enhanced through genetic modification. They surrounded her in a perfect sphere formation, attacking from all vectors simultaneously. Lyra took damage then. A plasma blade grazed her shoulder, burning through armor. A neural disruptor clipped her leg, sending paralyzing voltage through her muscles. She dropped to one knee, gasping. The guards closed in for the finish. Then Lyra did something no Vraxian would conceive. She screamed. Not a battle cry, but pure emotional release, all her fear, rage, and love channeled into sound. The guards hesitated for a fraction of a second, confused by this display of raw feeling. That fraction was enough. She exploded upward, moving faster than before, ignoring her injuries through sheer force of will. Her strikes became heavier, less technical, more brutal. She was not fighting like a Vraxian anymore. She was fighting like Thane had described ancient human warriors, who refused to fall even when their bodies should have quit. Berserkers, he had called them. People who loved so fiercely that death itself stepped aside. The elite guards fell. By evening, 800 warriors lay defeated. Lyra stood among them, armor shattered, bleeding from a dozen wounds, barely able to lift her arms. The remaining 200 warriors assembled for the final assault. These were not mere soldiers, but champions, the absolute best the Empire could field. "Stand down," Commander Vorn ordered suddenly, his voice echoing through the arena. The warriors hesitated, confused. "I said stand down." Vorn descended into the arena himself, approaching Lyra. "I have reviewed the evidence again, more carefully this time. You were correct. The encryption signatures do not match human protocols. Commander Thane was framed." Lyra swayed on her feet, hardly believing what she heard. "By who?" "That investigation continues," Vorn replied. "But the execution is canceled. Thane will be released." "Then why?" Lyra managed, her voice hoarse. "Did you make me fight 800 warriors before admitting this?" Vorn studied her for a long minute. "Because I needed to understand. Humans have defeated us in 3 engagements over the past cycle despite inferior technology. We attributed it to luck or desperation. But watching you today, I finally comprehend their true advantage. They fight for each other. Not for empire or strategy, but for the individual standing beside them. That bond makes them unpredictable, dangerous, and perhaps unconquerable. He gestured to the fallen warriors. You have proven that their way has merit, perhaps even superiority. A council will consider this. Lyra collapsed then, her body finally surrendering. Medical teams rushed forward, but she waved them toward the defeated warriors first. Even in victory, she thought of others. Just like Thane had taught her. She woke in the medical bay 3 days later. Thane sat beside her bed, his hand clasping her upper right hand. His eyes were red-rimmed, but smiling. "Hey there, warrior," he said softly. "Did I win?" she asked. "You won," he confirmed. They found the real traitor a Corthan infiltrator with genetic camouflage. "You saved me. You saved yourself. You might have saved the entire alliance between our peoples." Lyra managed a weak smile. "Your love is a threat," they told me. They meant it as a warning. And they were right. Our love is a threat. To old thinking, to cold logic, to anyone who believes strength and emotion cannot coexist. She squeezed his hand. "I am glad it is." Thane leaned forward and kissed her forehead gently. Outside the medical bay, the Empire was already changing. Training programs were being revised to include human concepts of unit cohesion and emotional bonds. The word love was appearing in military doctrine for the first time in Vraxian history. All because one alien girl decided that some threats were worth becoming.